Okay guys, so today this is the second section of the motivation letter, and today we'll talk about the introduction. So how do you want to write the introduction of a motivation letter? A lot of students typically start, so I'll tell you first what you should not do, and then I'll tell you how you should do it. And the introduction is very important because the person who's reading your application will not read it properly if you cannot generate the interest in the beginning. So typically students will write, I have always wanted to study engineering because I have always had a passion for the subject. It does not mean anything. I always wanted to study engineering since I was a kid. You are not a kid anymore. You are a grown up. So you should definitely not write introductions like this, that I have passion for this, or I was little child and I wanted to become this, or my parents told me to become a doctor, or my parents told me to become an engineer and all that. That's stupid, yeah. So how you should write it, you should tweak it a little bit, and you should say things like, you should first start with a story, and you should give some example where it generated some interest in you. For example, you could say, if you want to become a doctor, you could say that you saw a doctor, you were shadowing a doctor for 1 or 2 days, and then the work the doctor was doing was very inspirational for you. So the satisfaction the doctor was drawing was very inspirational for you. This is a very good and neutral start. So you can always bring a story from your past where you have seen a doctor or an engineer. So let's assume that you want to study engineering. Then you bring a story from your past and say, okay, I saw an engineer, and then I saw that he was doing this, this, and this, and I really liked. So the engineer was building the bridge, drawing the structural drawings, interacting with the workers, supervisors on the construction site. And I observed him for 2 days, and I got an opportunity through my school or whatever, and that was really something which I could relate to, and at that time I decided that I will become an engineer. You have to give an example. You can't just say that I was passionate from a childhood, as a child, as a kid. You always have to start with an example. Or you saw a doctor in your family, or you maybe saw some family doctor who was trying to, or who helped somebody in your family and so on. So use real life examples from your past to start the motivation letter. So that is about the introduction. And if you have any questions, I can always review your introductions. So just give me, write to me an email saying, this is my introduction, and I'll check it for you free of cost. So just write it in the comment box, and then I can just give you advice even in the comment box. All right, guys. And in the next one, we will talk about, so this was the introduction. So the next part, we'll talk about the other parts of the motivation letter. So let's say, how should you structure the middle part and so on. All right, all the best.